On Friday, 14 September 2007, ORB International, an independent polling agency located in London, published estimates of the total war casualties in Iraq since the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003, at over 1.2 million deaths. This estimate is the highest number published so far. From the PO margin of error of plus or minus 2.5%, ORB calculated a range of 733,158 to 1,446,063 deaths. The ORB estimate was performed by a random survey of 1,720 adults aged 18+, out of which 1,499 responded in 15 of the 18 governorates within Iraq, between August 12 and August 19, 2007. In comparison, the 2006 Lancet survey suggested almost half this number through the end of June 2006. The Lancet authors calculated a range of 392,979 to 942,636 deaths. On 28 January 2008, ORB published an update based on additional work carried out in rural areas of Iraq. Some 600 additional interviews were undertaken September 20 to 24, 2007. As a result of this, the death estimate was revised to 1,033,000 with a given range of 946,000 to 1,120,000. As well as estimating the number of deaths, the ORB poll also showed that despite the violence, only 26% of Iraqis preferred life under Saddam Hussein's regime, while 49% said that they preferred life under the current political system. This ORB estimate has been criticized as exaggerated and ill-founded in peer-reviewed literature. Survey question and results. Participants of the ORB survey were asked the following question: how many members of your household, if any, have died as a result of the conflict in Iraq since 2003? Please note that I mean those who were actually living under your roof. The revised results were causes of death. ORB reported that 48% died from a gunshot wound, 20% from the impact of a car bomb, 9% from aerial bombardment, 6% as a result of an accident, and 6% from another blast. Ordnance methodology. From the September 14, 2007 ORB press release concerning the first set of interviews. Results are based on face-to-face interviews amongst a nationally representative sample of 1,720 adults aged 18+ throughout Iraq. The standard margin of error on the sample who answered is plus 2.5%. The methodology uses multi-stage random probability sampling and covers 15 of the 18 governorates within Iraq. For security reasons, Karbala and Al-Anbar were not included. Erbil was excluded as the authorities refused the field team a permit. Their pollster was Dr. Munkith Dafir, founding director of IIACSS. ORB reports. IIACSS is a polling research company established in Iraq in 2003 and which has a network of interviewers covering all regions of the country. Further information about IIACSS and its founding director Dr. Munkith Dafir can be found within the relevant news article in the newsroom section of ORB's website. ORB is a member of the British Polling Council. Estimated range of deaths. The 2005 census reported 4,050,597 households. From this, ORB calculated 1,220,580 deaths since the 2003 invasion. From the PO margin of error of 2.5%, ORB came up with a range of 733,158 to 1,446,063 deaths. January 2008 update. 1,033,000 deaths. Opinion Research Business published an update to the survey on 28 January 2008, based on additional work carried out in rural areas of Iraq. Some 600 additional interviews were undertaken, and as a result of this the death estimate was revised to 1,033,000, with a given range of 946,000 to 1,120,000. Criticism. The ORB poll estimate has come under criticism in a peer-reviewed paper entitled Conflict Deaths in Iraq, a methodological critique of the ORB survey estimate, published in the journal Survey Research Methods. This paper describes in detail how the ORB poll is riddled with critical inconsistencies and methodological shortcomings, and concludes that the ORB poll is too flawed, exaggerated and ill-founded to contribute to discussion of the human costs of the Iraq War. Epidemiologist Francisco Cecchi recently echoed these conclusions in a BBC interview, stating that he thinks the ORB estimate was too high and implausible. Cecchi, like the paper above, says that a major weakness of the poll was a failure to adequately distinguish between households and extended family. The Iraq Body Count Project also rejected what they called the hugely exaggerated death toll figures of ORB, citing the Survey Research Methods paper, which Josh Doherty of IBC co-wrote. IBC concluded that the pressing need is for more truth rooted in real experience, not the manipulation of numbers disconnected from reality. John Rentoul, a columnist for the Independent newspaper, has asserted that the ORB estimate exaggerates the toll by a factor of as much as 10, and that the ORB estimate has rarely been treated as credible by responsible media organizations. But it is still widely repeated by cranks and the ignorant. Media coverage. On the 18th of September 2007, an article on the Media Lens website titled "The Media Ignore Credible Poll Revealing 1.2 Million Violent Deaths in Iraq" commented, "ORB is no dissident anti-war outfit. It is a respected polling company that has conducted studies for customers as mainstream as the BBC and the Conservative Party." It continued, "And yet, despite its obvious significance, the ORB study has been almost entirely blanked by the US-UK media. At time of writing, 4 days after the findings were announced, the poll has been mentioned in just one national UK newspaper, ironically, the Pro-War Observer. A week after its release, in the USA, only the Los Angeles Times carried the story of the leading newspapers, although NPR did a piece on it the following Tuesday. In the UK, BBC TV reported it in 81 words at the end of a 34-second segment about a bombing in Baghdad on its flagship news magazine Newsnight. On the BBC website, it was described in 131 words tagged on at the end of an unrelated article with no mention of the study in the title. The only report in the UK press was in The Observer, where it was appended to a story on Alan Greenspan's saying Iraq was about oil. After the 2008 ORB update, it was reported in a UK newspaper The Guardian in March 2008.